I think AI is like a form of cognition, basically. And I think that there are just a lot of things that are emerging with AI and um, that you can't really just think of it as a technical thing. AI is going to be part of our social structure, and I don't think a lot of people are prepared for it. But specifically in this video, I am going to be sharing some research I've been doing on Alpha School. I just kind of quickly got into the research, and this is just going to be broad coverage because I think this is really going to demonstrate how AI isn't necessarily the problem. It is humans who are not using critical thinking. It is um, humans who are going to decide how it is going to be used. And if people aren't paying attention enough, they're kind of just going to go along. It's going to become this dogmatic thing where AI is going to be used in the wrong ways and people aren't going to be benefiting from it. If anything, they're just going to be controlled or they're going to become part of like an assembly line kind of. And this, what I'm going to share with you in this research is definitely going to show it. Well, like I said, I've just broadly gone through the research, and it really triggered me today when I was reading it, and I read about this 9-year-old girl who basically was doing really good in school. She was really smart. She was above her reading level, and then she went to Alpha School. And when she went to Alpha School, they they basically have it set up that there are no teachers. They have people called guides, and the students 100% are learning on AI. They're at a computer and they are learning at AI, learning with AI. It's supposed to be customized to the student's pace of learning and where they actually have knowledge and where they can grow. Um, and one thing I really did like about this is that it's set up that it's supposed to be 2 hours of learning. Um, and then the rest of the day would be more like projects or something practical that students would do. And I was like, I think that's a great idea. I do deep work, and as an adult, your hours for deep work are about 4 hours, probably best in the morning. Um, and I thought, that's actually really good for students. Um, then I started reading about it more, and I found out that this girl who went there and was in this article, she was 9 years old, and they had her doing, three-digit multiplication, so of 3 different numbers. So, like 100 times 100 times 100, something like that. Um, and she was getting, behind, basically. And then her parents found out that she wasn't eating at school. They basically packed her a lunch, and she would come home and the lunch was still there. And they went to the school and they were like, "Oh, why isn't she eating lunch?" And the teachers, the guides, because there's no teachers, which is problematic, really think about it. The guides said, "Oh, well, she decided that she didn't wanna eat because she wanted to continue, like, learning the material." And then it came out that it was actually the guides who were not letting her eat because she was so far behind on the material. And when I heard that, that's when I realized, okay, AI wasn't the problem. Dumb humans were the problem. That's really, I don't like to criticize people usually, but to take orders from an AI and then tell us a young 9-year-old girl that she can't eat, that just demonstrates that humans are not using critical thinking. And it's not like this guide had a bunch of um, cognitive their cognitive capacity going to a bunch of other things. They sat in a room. Um, they probably took this job because it was supposed to be like a clutch job or something like that. And I was actually really bothered by it. I'm like, this is the same thing that has been happening in our society. It's the reason that AI has like emerged is because people weren't taking responsibility of what they're supposed to be doing. Um, and there are people who care, so they try to fix it by building AIs or something else like that. And then those get used irresponsibly because people don't actually take ownership of the things that they do. They don't have pride in the things that they do. And the reason that I want to talk about this is because I think if we enter into this shift in society and people are really at that stage where, people aren't getting married, people aren't dating, they're not buying houses, they're letting themselves become nothing. And now we're going to go into this change in our society where, so much is going to happen. So much is going to be getting done that people are going to allow themselves to decay and rot, basically. Um, and I think it's a terrible thing, honestly. I don't really know how else to put that. Um, because I don't want to see people be replaced with AI, but the AI isn't going away, most likely. And people are using it wrong. So all of a sudden they're going to say, okay, well, instead of just having the AI there, why don't we have like an HR made of AI agents? Why don't we have a principal made of AI agents? And why don't you even make a guide that's an AI that's just specialized in guiding the students? Um, because I do see it. People are already not doing what they're supposed to be doing in the roles that they're already occupying. So why wouldn't you just replace them, especially if they're not going to continue developing and growing because they see this technology is here? And I think that's the real problem. I've never thought technology was a bad thing. I think how we use it is. And then, the other aspect of people is the fact that there are people who don't care about humans. Um, and unfortunately, I think a lot of those people are the people who are developing our AI and would just like to see what happens at the end of it. Um, though I do have some good news is that the designer of this system, the AI that they are integrating into these alpha schools, um, the person who created it actually said he didn't want that being used in the school anymore because they were not using it correctly. And I think that is a very good move for society. Because seriously, these things are being created to help people, not to completely take away the need for people. And I think that's where people are going to go with this. It's very unfortunate. Um, which is why I am really promoting people to like develop some drive, like integrate yourself into the world, find out what your role is, find out who your people are, get rid of the people that you don't want, get rid of the things that you don't need. Um, this is just as real as I can be with people. Um, because you're going to go to the doctor and your nurses aren't going to care about you, your doctor's not going to care about you because they think the AI has everything all set. And then there's going to come this point where someone's going to say, okay, well, the doctors aren't doing their job, so let's replace them. The same way the teachers weren't doing their job, so let's replace them. Um, and it's our responsibility as humans. Like we have the control, and so many people don't want to have the control. They want to give it up. I mean, they're giving up like the most human thing that you can do is having families, and people are giving that up. Um, I don't know. It's to me, it seems like hedonism. Um, you can call it utilitarianism, like, oh, everybody's going to be happy, but no, it's like everybody's going to be hedonic, and it's going to stay that way until all of those people basically have no kids. They don't reproduce, so they don't extend their gene line. Then all that's gonna be left is the people who are actually doing things during this shift in our society. And that's something to really recognize because I all I hear is like, oh, people aren't going to be needed and people can just do this and get UBI. I'm telling you guys, that's not what it is. I mean, that's what it is if you don't want to survive and exist. But if you really want to survive and exist, you gotta find your way world. Like, and you're gonna have to do things you normally wouldn't do. Um, you know, there's like almost there is gonna even become this point, like when I think of it as a school, where like the knowledge that the AI has is the only knowledge that's accepted. Um, so unless you have teams of people who are combating that and extending the knowledge in a more human way, that is going to be the knowledge that we have. Um, your ability to think will be compromised. Your ability to make decisions will be compromised. This is just a reality that if we all, like not you, like we all don't come up with some ideas, um, somebody else is going to choose. And it's not the coolest thing. And it is all 100% human decision. It's not even an AI's decision. Um, right now, humans could be saying, don't create models that Claude is creating that they're calling mythos, which is really interesting that they're calling it mythos when I think about it, because like they basically are trying to recreate myths of our society, is what it kind of seems like to me. Um, and I brought this up in a philosophy class that I had recently. Like, even when you get each model comes out, it seems almost like they are trying to like recreate the biblical narratives. You have like what is it, Chat GPT or GPT 5.1. It just reminds me of like something I'm reading out of a Bible. Like, like it's kind of interesting to me that that's what we're seeing is that we're as humans we are allowing technology to rewrite our myth, and we're just sitting passively allowing it to happen, just trying to let people know like it is a real thing. I don't like when people roll their eyes at me and like or just like give me a blank stare. Like, what do you mean this is gonna happen? I'm like, 5 years ago, nobody thought we would have something that could write better than a human, but we have it. So just imagine what's gonna happen in 2 or 3 years because these things are improving exponentially. It's not small improvements. Like, I honestly haven't had an AI hallucinate on me, or not years, months. I think that's really interesting. But anyways, I hope that you haven't been thinking about AI, you start thinking about it. And if you have any questions, leave it on this video and I will um, answer it in a future video or in a comment. And thanks for watching. Let me know what you guys want to hear next.